So, I'm in my car the other day listening to my mix of 25 or 30 Iron Maiden tracks that I have on my phone, and I think, time to change up the playlist. I've been listening to this one for about a year. I need some new Maiden in my life. So I load up my phone with some new tracks, some tracks that I hadn't heard in a while, a few underrated Maiden gems, a bit of the newer stuff from Book of Souls, so on and so forth. Stranger in a Strange Land is one of those tracks, stemming from their 1986 Somewhere in Time album. It was a song that I hadn't heard in a long time and had forgotten just how bloody good it was, and especially that solo by Adrian Smith. When I think of Iron Maiden solos that are a bit more on the melodic side, I usually think of Dave Murray, but that could just be me. Others say the complete opposite. Dave has this smooth, fast style with lots of legato and trills, but generally I think he handled a lot of the slower melodic solos back when. Adrian Smith solos are usually the blues-based rippers when it comes to comparing the two guitarists. At least when it comes to classic Maiden, when there were only two guitarists in the band. The song Stranger in a Strange Land was actually written by Adrian Smith and was a highlight of the somewhat uneven Somewhere in Time album. But the solo that he put down here is certainly one of his best and most melodic. Just a gorgeous melodic opening first half of this solo before eventually ripping into his more familiar fare. But the whole thing is phenomenal and one of the better solos stemming from Maiden's vast catalog of music. Seeing as Adrian Smith was a huge influence on my own playing when I was just a wee lad, I knew that I had to sit down and learn it. Or relearn it, I suppose. I can't remember if I ever tackled this one when I was a kid. Once I did just that, I figured that I would share what I learned with some of you guys, or anyone else who wants to learn this fantastic Adrian Smith solo. So let's have a look at this one. I'm going to show you guys how to play it. All right, let's have a look at this solo. We are in standard tuning and we are in E minor. We are working in the E natural minor scale for the entirety of this solo. Just going to run through the E natural minor scale quickly for you, starting here at the 12th fret. It's 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 11, 12, 14, 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. That is the E natural minor scale. So we're starting off here with this lick. So that's starting at 12 on the B string. And then we're going to grab 13 and then hammer on 12 to 13 back to 12. And then we're going to go 14 to 12 on the G. And then we're going to go 11, 12, 14 of the G. And then finish up on 12 of the D. So that whole opening lick. And then we're into this lick. That's 14 on the D, skipping a string down to 12 on the B, and then 13 back to 12 on the B, and then rolling up to 12 on the G. So up to that point. And now into this lick. That's 13 on the B, and then hammering on 12 to 13 back to 12 on the B, and then 14 to 12 on the G, and then a bend release on the G string at the 14th fret, and then back to 12, back to 14. So, up to that point. And then from there we're going to go so we're going to go 12 on the G, pull off 14 to 12 of the D, and pull off 14 to 12 of the A and slide out of it. So quickly up to that point. And now we're into this. So we're grabbing the 17th fret of the B string and giving it a 1.5 bend. And then releasing back to the natural note, and then grabbing 16 of the G. And then we're going to go back to 17. So 17 of the B, and then we're going to go back to 14, 15, 17 of the high E. And then you're going to roll back those 3 notes. And then we're going to go 15 back to 14. And basically ride up a little, like a little D shape. 15 back to 14, up to 15 on the B, up to 14 on the G. So, from the big bend. And then we're going to come way up here to the 20th fret. And you're going to give 2 full step bends. And then release it to the natural note and pick that. And then back to 19, and then up to 20 of the B. And let that ring for a bit, and then you're going to go 20 of the B, back to 17, 19, 20 of the high E, and then just reverse it back to 17. And give that some vibrato. So from the big bend. And this is when the more of the heavier part of the solo kicks in. So let's tackle that next. All right, so after coming out of that, I'm going to slowly play through the opening one more time before we get into the part 2. It's basically a 3-part solo. And this is where the band starts building up and getting ready to come in. So we're going to grab the 15th fret of the high E for 2 full step bends. And at this part, there's actually delay on the guitar, and it sounds like he's hitting it 4 times when it's actually just delay that is repeating the note. So if you can't get your delay set to repeat that note a 4th time, you can just pick the note 4 times. And just kind of like, easier as your the last 2 a little quieter. and then we're into this lick. So that's pulling off 15 to 12 of the high E, and then grabbing 12 of the B, and then back to 12 of the high E, and then a full step bend at 15. Let me just play that. It's right here in the pentatonic box. So instead of going through every single note, let me just play it slowly a few times, because it's right in this pentatonic box. 12, 15, 12, 15, 12, 14. Sorry, messed it up. One more time. And that is that lick. And at speed, it's... And then we're into this lick. That is 14, 12 to 14 on the D, and then 12 up to 14 on the A, back to 12 of the D, and then 14 to 12 back to 14 on the A. And then 12 to 10 back to 12. This is basically right down the pentatonic. And then up to 12, back up to 12 of the low E, back to 10 of the A. And then you're going to pull off one last time 12 to 10 of the A and slide out of it. So the second part of that solo slowly up to that point. And now we're going the other way down the pentatonic. And that's basically at the 12th fret back to 10. 12 to 10, 12 to 10. And then doing the same thing on the A string, and then moving up and doing the same thing on the D string at 14 and 12. And then you're going to go to 14 of the G string, 2 full step bends, and then back to 12, back to 14, and then 12 of the G up to 14, back to 12 of the D. Oh, sorry, I'm sliding out of that. Don't slide out of it. Hang on it, and then grab your whammy bar. So, up to that point. And then you're going to grab 14 of the G and give it a full step bend with lots of vibrato. And then we're into this lick, which repeats 4 times. You're going to bar the 12th fret of the B and the E, and then you're going to hit the 12th fret of the E, then you're going to pull off 15 to 12 of the B string, grab 14 of the G, back down to 12 of the E, and then 15 for a bend at the B string. You can give that 14th fret of the G a little bend every time. and then we're into this. Going to go 12, 14, 15 of the high E. And you're going to give that 15th fret a full step bend, release, and then release back to 12. And then you're going to go 17 for 2 full step bends. And then 1 more full step bend, release, and then back to 15. And then 2 notes, 15 to 17 on the high E. So up to that point, from the beginning of that part of the solo. And then you're going to finish this whole little part of the solo with, that is 15 of the high E, 17 to 15 of the B. And slide out of it. So up to that point from the third section of the solo. Slowly. And now we're into the main melody line of the solo again. So we're back up to the 20th fret on the high E for 2 full step bends. So the same as you did it before. That's 20 to 19 of the high E up to 20 of the B. And then you're going to go 17, 19, 20 of the high E. And then finishing up 17, 19 back to 17. And then finishing up the whole solo with this. That's bending the 20th fret of the B down to 17 of the high E. And then pulling off 19 to 17 of the high E, back up to 20, and then back up to 20 of the B, back down to 17 of the high E. So, playing this slow is a little tricky, but and then finishing the whole solo with this. So you're pulling off 20 to 17 of the B, up to 19 of the G, back to 20 for a full step bend on the B string, and then back to 17 of the B. And then this really odd note up here, he skips 2 strings and goes up and grabs the 19th fret of the A string to end the solo. Live, he often doesn't do that. He just goes back into playing rhythm. But on the recorded version, he's grabbing that note. So the second half of that solo, from the when it starts getting heavier, I'll run through that whole second half slowly. So. And that, my friends, is how you play Stranger in a Strange Land by Adrian Smith and Iron Maiden. I hope that helped you out. And if you're a subscriber to my channel, thank you very much. If you're not, subscribe and hit that little notification bell. I don't know why I need to tell you that, but you know, you're savvy, you're YouTube savvy. You know what to do. And we'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Ciao.